Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. It's January 16th, 2022. This won't get loaded up till midday, early evening on the 17th. But tonight, we're going to talk about uh, a claim here that the World Economic Forum claims climate change is the greatest global threat in 2022, which is exactly what Charlie Chester told us that CNN was going to start harping on and using climate change as a fear factor.
We're going to start focusing mainly on climate, like global warming. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
Awareness, and which really means that they're going to, hype the fear to get everybody afraid and get everybody afraid without having solutions by all these people that are screaming for solutions. The world's experts have been on the job for 40, 50 years, and all they have done is produce hugely massive negative results. And now we're going to use this as fear. And now, of course, this is an InfoWars article, so all of the independent media just says global warming is not real. It's all not real, man. End of story. They just won't deliver any real good environmental news. But they say Alex Jones here. He I've heard him say he's about sustainability, and so haven't other independent media people, Dave Hodges, Lisa Havens, but will they put out any of that information? No, no. So that's a little catchphrase with them, but they won't back it up. They just have no respect for the planet, and they say that in addition to climate change, the World Economic Forum 17th edition of its Global Risks Report lists, social division, cybersecurity, and the pandemic. But, the climate crisis remains the biggest long-term threat facing humanity from Zurich Insurance Group. Yeah, failure to act on climate change could shrink global GDP by 1/6. And there's really a lot more to care about than global GDP, because complete economic collapse is gonna shrink global GDP too, and they're happy to bring that on. So, and all these people, the World Economic Forum is now talking environment. I mean, shouldn't the environmental people be talking environment? Oh, that's right, they do, and they just talk. And now, the Economic Forum, I guess. So I guess that's where GDP comes in, because this is the Economic Forum. But all these groups are interrelated, and all their experts pal around with one another, and none of them will allow solutions. If I went to the World Economic Forum with the solutions the world needs, they would just laugh me out of town. Right here, top 10 global risks by severity, climate action failure, 4 or 5 decades, 40, 50 years. And all these people that have been on the job, that have proven themselves to be complete proven failures, still are highly respected people, still get paid, still are on the job. And the only person that isn't allowed anywhere near the agenda is the environmental educator who actually has the solutions the world needs. And global environmental illiteracy. Education is the key to all success, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, and that includes environmental, but we could end global environmental illiteracy so that we get people becoming responsible in their daily actions, and they would end their disposable society, and we could get society to end its disposable society by revamping things, and leadership by example, and hemp could replace so much. And the only thing they do, like they've been doing for decades, is talking clean energy, and they still haven't delivered it. But they refuse to do all of this, which, if they did it when the environmental educator first started asking people to do it in '93, we would have solved our problems by now. But here's this article. Let's go back to it here. And the World Economic Forum effort to portray climate change as humanity's greatest threat dovetails with its Great Reset agenda, which seeks to deindustrialize the West in the name of reducing carbon output. Climate lockdowns have already been proposed. They say they're going to start doing it, and the climate police, they're going to be showing up at your house, right? Oh yeah, yeah. People are going to love that, but it's coming. India started preparing people for climate lockdown. We've got to not have anybody do anything because we haven't given the world the sensible solutions the world needs since November of 93. So now we, the Great Reset, the New World Order, are gonna put you under our thumb and we're gonna lock you down based on we have refused to give you the solutions the world needs. And it's really sad, but that is the state of things today. And of course, I just put out another video today, another video of Project Veritas won't expose his truth. InfoWars, they won't expose his truth. But what's interesting is, well, okay, consider the source, because the propaganda is all pushing the climate, change agenda, and oh my God, it's so bad, and then the independent media is that's all a fraud. Yeah, okay. But right here, Yahoo, this was on January 16th, 2022. So, today. And it's talking about one of the world's wealthiest oil exporters is becoming unlivable. And this is Kuwait City. And they talk about the people just being out in the summer and, outside of the pollution, and they just can't catch a break from the sun anywhere. Temperatures are hitting 54 Celsius, and that's 50 Celsius is 122 Fahrenheit. So that's getting up there. That's pretty hot. I've been the in Moab. It was, let me see, maybe 2015, maybe 2014 in Moab. It was in May. It was the end of May, and it had been over 100 degrees for a few days, and that sun, it just beats down on you. It just beats on your head. It just, oh, my head, it hurt. But the day I left, I was in the north part of Canyonlands. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and the car near me said that it was 111 degrees by their thermostat. And when I was driving home, I pulled over and got gas, and it was somewhere off of 15 in Utah. And the guy at the convenience store, the gas station, said he lives just, down the road, and it was 117 degrees when he was coming to work. So it's, it's pretty hot, but they're saying that, the wildlife, the dead birds appear on rooftops in the brutal summer months. They can't find shade or water. Stray cats and even foxes are out there, and the wildlife is taking a beating because of the temperatures. And sure, it's hot out there, but then I was like, hey, I wonder what the temperature in Death Valley is. And Death Valley's pretty hot. I was there in spring and it was hot. I don't remember the exact temp. It wasn't record breaking. But here in August 16th, 2020, it was 130 degrees. 2019, 125. 2018, 127, 127, 129 in 2013, 28 in 2012. And that's pretty hot. And then you come down, a lot of 128s, 127, 25, 26, 23, 29, 25, 28, 27. let's come down here. That's to the 90s, 1990 there. And then it gets a little cooler, starting 87-ish, and 83 is down to 121, 122, 125, 121, 128 in 1972. So that was a high there. And then even when you go to the bottom here, all the way back to 1913 was the highest temperature of 134 degrees. And then there was a bunch of 127, 125, 126, 124, 125 back here. This is, like in the 1919s, 1920, 26. It is a little warmer. It doesn't seem like, 5 degrees. Hey, 60, 65, man, it's not that big of a difference. But I don't know. When those temperatures start getting hot, they just start beating down. And right, they have a lot of effect on a lot of things, including wildlife. And not many people live in Death Valley. But here's the temperatures for Death Valley. Here's an article. This was some date on it, June 7th, 2021, that the record heat bakes the Middle East as temperatures top 125 degrees, and then it makes it look like they're out sailing in nice temps. But yeah, that's why those people dress in a lot of big white gowns, just keep that sun off of you. So, the West has always experienced, the Middle East has always experienced some really high temperatures, but I guess they're saying that things are getting worse and places are becoming unlivable. And it is, it's tough to live in temperatures that high. But the environment has a lot more to do than just temperatures. It's it goes a lot deeper. And the things that cause climate change aren't just, the burning of fossil fuels. Is it this article here? You know, yeah, it says here that compared with the rest of the Middle East, Kuwait lags in its climate action, right? And in a region that's far from doing enough to avoid catastrophic global warming. But it's not just their oil that burning it creates problems. It's people's refusal to just actually live responsibly and to not abuse that oil. If we just stopped abusing the oil and the coal-fired power plants and the greenhouse gas emitting processes, we wouldn't have a fraction of the situation that we do today. And is global warming real? I don't know. I don't know. Nobody does. Out there in the media, they all pick what side they want to be on. It's irrelevant. Everything that is said to create global warming causes so many other problems that it's just responsible to live responsibly, to reduce by reusing the two highest levels of the environmental hierarchy. It's just so easy to be responsible, and it has as much to do with our disposable society as it does with the electricity that we turn on or the gas that we burn in our cars. All these plastics right now in our disposable society, including the garbage bag that houses all of our waste so that it can get to its landfill or its incinerator. Most trash is burned. So it goes to an incinerator. And you know what comes out of that smokestack of the incinerator? Oh, nothing visible, but lots of toxins, lots of pollutants, lots of things that then get into the air and the water and the soil that cause the cancers that we're all trying to prevent, you know? So, InfoWars likes to make a mockery of taking care of the environment, in part because they know that the propaganda media really hypes it up, and maybe it's not as worthy of the hype as much as the hype they put out there, but there's something to it because, I know things have changed a lot since I was a kid. And it could be natural progress. Earth Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and we've lived for a couple of decades, maybe. That's nothing. That's not even a blink of an eye in geological terms. And Earth's temperature has changed in the past. It's it's a very interesting place, Earth. You know, but the difference between temperature before they said global warming's happening and 6 degrees warming or 6 degrees cooling from that, back when things were stable before they said global warming was happening, 6 degrees cooler is a full on ice age. 6 degrees hotter will be a very uncomfortable planet. And it's not even just about the wildlife dying and the birds that can't find shade or water and foxes and wildlife, but it's also about food production, right? You know, Humans are very content with their very comfortable lives. And that comfort is based upon the stability of things that we know and processes that work for us. And all of that can really have an upheaval with an increased global temperature. So we just have to have respect. We can't just listen to the left and Alex Jones and Mike Adams and all the independent news, Sean from SGT Report and Lisa Haven. Global warming's not real, man. There's nothing. You can just trash this planet as much as you want. Well, I mean, not really. Like, I believe in sustainability, but they won't ever give you good information. Global warming's not real. The left is just out there creating hysteria, and the propaganda is creating hysteria, and the propaganda does, and the propaganda won't tell you the truth, but neither will the independent media, and neither will Project Veritas. So stay tuned to the Environmental Educator, because this is what the world needs. And if you really want to be a solution, see an environmental solution in the world, we need you to be it. And it's really simple. And it just comes down to taking some personal responsibility in your daily actions. And of course, it comes down to getting society to revamp a lot of things too. But humans can make a big impact until somehow, someday, I get society to revamp things. And you know when that would happen? The day Project Veritas exposes them. If only they would. If Project Veritas went out there and exposed that no stadium will do reusable stadium concessions, you know who would be calling me the next day? Oh, that's right. Every stadium out there. And we'd be doing it. And it already would have been done if Project Veritas would have done their job 2.5 years ago. Okay? So stay tuned, because this is the only place you're going to find this truth. And there is a happy medium between the independent media. Global warming is not real, man. I know. It's not real. We can just do anything. And then the hysteria of the propaganda, and no one will tell you the truth, and no one will expose every fraudulent environmental voice out there, except right here. This is the environmental educator that has the truth and the solutions the world needs. So stay tuned, people.